If you're thinking about cross-listing items for your reselling business and you're looking at using Vendoo, you're in the right place. Vendoo is what I use in my own resale business, and in this video, I'm going to show you step by step, give you a full tutorial of how to use Vendoo and show you all of the capabilities that it has. Now, just a spoiler alert before we get started, Vendoo is much more than just a cross-listing tool. I'm going to not only show you how to cross-list your items and sell across multiple platforms, do it in an easy, time-saving way, but I'm also going to show you the other features that are available to you as a Vendoo user. This is going to be powerful. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, before you get started, there's a few things to know about Vendoo. Yes, it is a subscription plan, but it's an investment in your business and being able to sell in multiple places at once. So let's quickly cover the plans that are available. Now, there's multiple plans, a level for everybody. Also to be aware of as you're choosing your plan, there is an option for monthly versus yearly. And of course, when you choose the yearly option, there's going to be a savings that goes along with that. One other quick note is that I do have a special discount code that you'll find in the description below this video, and that'll actually get you 25% off of your first month when you use my link. Once you've selected your plan, the next thing that you're going to want to do is get your marketplaces connected. You can do that by coming up to this person at the top and then choosing Marketplace Connections. And you can also do this from your phone. Now hang with me because this is the techiest part, I promise. You do need to install an extension, so you can see that I already have that installed. Because you're brand new, yours is going to look a little bit different, and it's just going to say that you need to install that extension for this to work. And this is going to allow you to be able to connect into the platforms that you want to sell on. Okay, so now I scrolled down to the bottom just so you can see some of the platforms that I don't have connected, because if you're just getting onto Vendoo, you're obviously not going to have any of your platforms connected. But once you get that extension installed, you're now ready to connect into your platforms, and it's going to look something like this where it says connect eBay, connect Poshmark, and you're going to just click that. You're going to want to make sure that you're logged in on that platform on your computer or on your phone, and that you have an account already set up on that platform that you're going to be selling on. One other thing to be aware of here is the toggle for sales detection. Now, this is not available to every platform, but it's available on all of the major platforms. And so if you toggle that on once you get that platform connected, what that's going to do is it's going to automatically detect when a sale comes in and then go and remove that item from other platforms so that you don't end up with duplicate listings. You're going to repeat this process of connecting your platforms for all of the platforms that you want to sell on. Now, just because there's a lot available does not mean you have to use them all. I actually recommend focusing on fewer and being more intentional versus spreading yourself thin. All right, so now that you have your platforms connected, you can come in and import your current listings. All right, so if you are just getting started with Vendoo, what you're most likely going to want to do is import your current listings, because I'm going to assume that you're probably already selling on a channel somewhere, whether that's Mercari or Depop or Poshmark or eBay. You already have some items listed. So at this point, the best game plan is to bring those items in from the platform that you're on and bring them into Vendoo. This is where that import add-on comes in and is super useful, especially if you're just getting going with cross-listing. Once you've been on Vendoo for a while, you can actually list right from Vendoo, either from your computer or from your phone. If you're in that place of having your inventory already on a platform, then I would for sure recommend getting at a minimum that import add-on. And you can always get rid of it later once you decide to go ahead and start listing directly from Vendoo. And you're gonna do that by coming over to the left and then going to this kind of inbox. You can see where it says import. You're just gonna click on that, and that's going to take you into the tool to be able to import your current listings. This is what the import page looks like, and you're going to come over to this left. There's a pull down to be able to select which platform you would like to import your items from. So for example, if you're a Poshmark seller and you want to be able to cross-list other places, but you've already got your items on Poshmark, you're gonna come in here and select Poshmark. If your items are on eBay, you would select eBay. Once you've selected your platform, you'll come over here to the right to get your latest items. Now this does refresh every so often. So for example, mine says 7 minutes ago, but let's say I listed something just within the last minute or two, I can refresh that to get the latest listings. So a note popped up here that says we successfully got your latest listings. You should now see your listings here in this feed, and you're also gonna see the little tag that says not imported. At this point, these items are not yet in Vendoo. So what you're gonna wanna do is select your items. You can choose, pick and choose, or select all, and then you're gonna click the button to import listings. Now this does take just a few minutes, but while this is working, you can go and do other things inside of the Vendoo tool. This was only 7 items, so it went pretty fast. So now when I head back into this top button of my inventory, I should see all of those listings now brought into Vendoo. So for example, this is one that I just imported. You're gonna notice because I imported it from eBay, it does have an eBay logo there. That signifies where that item is currently listed. If I scroll down here a little ways, you can see the difference. So for example, this Psycho Bunny sweatshirt I've got on eBay, Mercari, and Poshmark. At this point, your item is officially in your Vendoo inventory, but it's not yet listed to other platforms. So what you're gonna do is click on that listing that you wanna get cross-listed, and this is gonna open up the Vendoo form. The first thing to notice before we get started using this form is the marketplaces over here on the side. So we're gonna start at the very top and then work our way down. The other thing that I wanna point out is the color that you see over here is going to match the border of this form. So for example, I'm in the Vendoo form, the border of the form is yellow. If I'm to click over to eBay, the blue is gonna match the blue. Poshmark, the red is gonna match, or purple, whatever color that is. All right, so let's head back to this Vendoo form, and you're gonna notice that it's brought in all of the photos from the listing that I imported from. It's also brought in the title and the description, so there shouldn't be anything there that you need to change, unless of course you want to. It's also brought in things like the brand, the condition, the color, the SKU number that I happen to have. So you shouldn't need to really change much of anything. Just make sure that you're in the correct category. Most of the time that is correct, probably about 95% of the time I'd say, but there's a few times where the category maybe doesn't translate over correctly. So just watch out for that. It's gonna bring in your size type, even your package weight. I already had that in my eBay listing, so it's just pulling in all this information. And it also pulled in the listing price. If you'd like to be able to enter your cost of goods of how much you bought that item for, you can enter it there. Vendoo also has what are called Vendoo labels, and this is a little bit more of an advanced feature, but if you would like to be able to tag your items individually, whether they're maybe fall items or winter items, or maybe where you sourced them from, whatever you need for your labels, that would be the place to do it. You can also have notes on that item, and these are notes that only you see. Nobody else is gonna see those on other platforms. So I basically just scrolled through this. I did not enter a thing. You're just gonna make sure to hit that save button. And what this is going to do is to take all of the information in your Vendoo form and is going to populate all of these other forms to the other platforms. So they're pretty much all ready to go. You're gonna notice that over here, it now says complete. eBay, we can skip right past because that's where it was imported from, but let's go ahead and head down to Poshmark to get this item listed over on Poshmark. So again, everything is populated from that Vendoo form. There's not usually a lot that you need to add here. One of the things might be if you want to come in and add style tags to that item. Sometimes the size you might need to play around with, but for this, it already brought in US standard size medium. It's brought in the listing price, even with the rounding. You also have the option to toggle on Smart Sell, and this allows you to be able to take offers and automatically accept them if they are above a certain price. So for this listing, there was nothing I needed to do. I just needed to scroll through, make sure it all looks okay, and I'm gonna click List on Poshmark. Now, as that is listing, it's pretty quick. You can see it working there, but as that is working, you can go ahead and click into the next platform. So now I'm just going down the list. I'm over here on Mercari. On Mercari, the only thing that I usually need to change or select is the shipping method. So you're gonna see the pull down for the shipping label, and from here you can select the shipping method that you'd like to use for that item. That's the only thing that I need to do for this Mercari form. And again, you've got some more advanced features if you'd like to take advantage of smart pricing as well as smart offers. Another thing that I want to point out is this little floppy disk. For those of you who remember what floppy disks are, you can actually click that to save that as your default so that every item you list is going to remember that. All right, so we hit list on Mercari and that is going to get listed. Again, we can come back into our inventory and go through the next item. Now, pro tip, if you want to get through a lot of items quickly because you may have a lot, say on Poshmark, maybe you've got 100 items that you're going to need to get through, is actually to hold down your control key. I believe on the Mac, it's probably the command key, but that's just a guess, so don't quote me on it. But hold that down and you're going to click on each listing, and that's going to open up a new tab for each listing. I like to open up maybe 10 or 20 at once and then quickly go through them. And this is something you can easily do sitting in front of the TV at night. It doesn't take a lot of brain power to run through these. When you get past the hurdle of importing all of your listings, as you're getting your listings imported, yes, it takes a little bit of time, but there's actually an easier way moving forward with new inventory that you're sourcing. I'll show you that in just a minute. But I want to encourage you at this point that the effort is worth it. And even as you're getting items broadcast out in multiple places, you're going to start seeing the effects of this, of sales coming, offers coming in on multiple platforms. So let me go ahead and show you once you're to the stage of I've got all of my items imported and then the new inventory that I'm sourcing and getting listed, the easier way, rather than having to import those listings and listing them somewhere else first and then having to bring them in, is to actually use Vendoo as your cross lister. This is essentially the hub of my business, the first place that I come when I have an item that I need to get listed. So what you're gonna do is come over to this left toolbar where it says new item. And these are the same exact forms. You've already seen a similar page of that as we were going through the imported items. But for this, you're starting from scratch, much like you would starting on any other platform. So you have a place to be able to upload your photos. And again, you can do all of this from your phone as well. You can take photos right from your phone and have them in there, write your titles, go through this whole form right from your phone, even get them listed out to other platforms. All right, so I'm gonna just run through this really quickly, but it's the same process. You'll start by uploading your photos. Once they get uploaded, then you can come in and actually use their background remover, which works really well. So you're gonna click to remove background, select all of them or just the cover one if you'd like, and remove background. And you're gonna run through this form much like you would on any other platform. Put in your title, the size, all of that good stuff. Keep on working your way down, enter the brand, the condition, the color. Any of these you can type, by the way, to be able to do it faster, a SKU number if you'd like, your category, the size type, and then the weight of the item. You're gonna put in your price, and again, these are gonna populate all through these, so pick a price that you feel comfortable with on the platforms that you're gonna be listing on. And you're just gonna click that save button. Once that Vendoo listing says complete, you can continue on down this list for the platforms that you want to get the item listed to, just as we did before when we imported an item. Another thing that I want to point out in this main dashboard is your drafts. And so those are your listings that haven't yet been cross-listed, and then your active listings are those that are active listed out there on platforms. And over here on the right are your sold listings. And if you come into this pull down where it says sales detected, those are the items where you had a sale, and it's going to show the platform that it's sold on as well as that sale date. You're also going to notice that the other platform icons that you had that item listed to are now removed. A few other things that I want to point out with this inventory dashboard are your marketplaces. Now, all of these are buttons that you can click on. So let's say that I wanted to see what I have listed on Shopify. I could click on that, and then that's going to bring up all of my things that I have listed there. If I want to see another platform, I could go ahead and clear that out and then click on the platform, or let's say two, that I want to see where those items are listed to both places. So that's a really cool feature. You also have a lot of capability in here to search, and even search by SKU number, to search by items that are not listed. Let's say that I wanted to see items that are not listed on Depop. I could click Depop and then view not listed. You also have an option here for advanced filters, and there's a lot that you can do with this. I'm not going to go super in depth here, but you can spend some time playing around with this, and you can see just how powerful some of these filters can be. For example, you can filter by price, by brand, by the date the item was created, when it was last modified, and so forth. There's another pull down that I want to point out, because this one has a really cool feature in it to be able to see your stale list items. Those are the older items where you can maybe apply some strategies to get those items to move. Another place that you're going to want to know about is the bulk action tools. So if you come in here, there's all different kinds of tools that are available for you to be able to delist and relist. Now you'll see an exclamation there just because of Poshmark's policy. So you do want to use some caution when using that. And of course, stick to the platform's policies as far as delisting and relisting. You've also got some options in here to bulk copy, bulk delete, and bulk delist. So that's a quick tour around this inventory page. Another thing that you're going to want to know about in this toolbar over at the left are the pro tools. Now there's a lot in here. There's sending offers, and you can send on multiple platforms all from one place. I'll show you what each of these look like here in a second. There's also auto offers if that's something that you want to set up. And then there's also marketplace sharing. Within the send offers tool, you can select which platform that you want to send offers, the amount that you want to send the offer for, and then if that offer price is on the Vendoo price or on the marketplace price. I would recommend having that set up to marketplace price. You're seeing that floppy disk icon there again, so you can set that up to save as a default if you want. And you can also choose your discount for the shipping. Of course, this is going to vary by platform because some of the other platforms don't have a shipping discount when you send offers. Poshmark does, which is why you see it there. You can go ahead and select the items that you would like to send offers on and click to send. While that's working, you can go to another platform or use another one of the pro tools, or go back and import more items or create new listings. Within the Auto Offers Pro tool, you can set this up again based off of the Vendoo price or the marketplace price. You can also put in a minimum and a maximum amount. So let's say I have an item listed for $12, then if I put 15 in for a minimum, this auto offer won't apply. Set up the percent off. And you have a lot of control within this. For example, you could set this up to exclude new with tags items listed within a certain number of hours. You can even exclude by brand. Once you've got this set up how you like, then you're just going to come in and make this active and hit that confirm. One note here is to make sure that you keep Vendoo open in a tab on your computer so that this is running in the background all of the time. You can also come in and check out the activity log if you would like to see what is actually going on with the sending offers. As far as the marketplace sharing goes, these are the platforms where you can set up sharing with, and I actually have active rules already set up for Poshmark, and so you can see the schedule here that I use, and this means that every day 4 a.m., 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 8 p.m., these are going to be sharing. And you also have full control here as far as the number of items to share so that you don't run over the daily maximum. You can also set up the sharing order if you want it to be random or top to bottom. There's different choices there, as well as the sharing speed. And like with the auto offers, you can see your activity log and all of the sharing that has been going on in the background for you. And you can also review the history and see where Vendoo has actually come in and solved the CAPTCHAs so that you can continue sharing items. Hopefully by this point in the video, you're feeling more confident to try out Vendoo for your business. As you're trying this tool out, remember that there is a little bit of a learning curve, much like with anything, and it can take some time to learn all of the ins and outs, but I promise that it is worth it in the long run, and you'll get faster over time. As you're getting items imported and getting going, one other thing to know about is down here at the very bottom right corner. This is something that a lot of people miss. And if you run into any sorts of issues or questions or whatever, you want to come to where it says messages and send a message. This is the way to be able to reach the Vendoo team. You can type your message, include what listing it is that you're working with. Maybe you've got a question on a certain listing. You can come into a specific listing if you've got a question for a specific listing, and you'll see a Vendoo item ID. There's a little copy, and so you're going to hit that, and you can include that in your message. Hey, I've got a question on this item. What do I do in this case? And the Vendoo team can more easily help you. Moral of the story here, any question at all, make sure that you reach out to the Vendoo team. They are here to support you. And quick reminder, you get 25% off when you use the link below this video. Any questions on using this tool, or if you'd like to see a future video on a certain tool inside of Vendoo, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.